call this meeting of the Simpson County Fiscal Court to order, and I would ask that Magistrate Scott Poston would start us with prayer, and after that we'll have the pledge to the American flag.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day and the many blessings that you've given us in life. Father, we just pray that you'll be with us today as we conduct the business of the county. Father, we just pray that you'll be with our law enforcement, Father, our first responders, our servicemen and women. Father, we just pray that you'll be with the sick. We pray that you would lay your kind and healing hand upon them, Father, and just the ones that have lost loved ones in this community, Father, just be with them, comfort them as only you can. Once again, we just pray that you'll be with us through this meeting and everything that's said and done be pleasing to you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We got a few things on the agenda here, different people to share some things with us, so we'll get started into that. First, we'll start with Ms. Jada Freeman from the Sheriff's Office. She's just going to present settlement reports.
In your report, we should have a worksheet that looks similar to this right here. You can follow $22.9 million signed for at the Sheriff's Office in total taxes. That includes standard franchises and bank franchises. Of that, $2.5 million was figured for the county after we take out discounts, exonerations, delinquents, commission, and then refunds. We remitted $2.2 million over to the county. As you can see on that settlement form, I was able to balance it within 31 cents. And I'm asking you to accept this settlement pending 2 audits from the state and the DLG.
We didn't get it on that.
Yeah, we didn't get it.
I'm sorry. Well, let me just pass this around real quick.
I don't really need to.
Glance at it, because it has all the districts. It gives you an idea of what was collected for everybody. But
You was 31 cents off.
31 cents. Well, you got to think. We got large figures. When you got 3 different databases, those large figures are going to have some rounding.
On 2.5 million?
On 22, when you're looking at 22, but 2.5 million for, or whatever I said, 2 point.
I don't know, 31 cents.
Within 30, balance within 31.
That's pretty good. That's awesome. I see, has the school changed their commission?
They have submitted it.
For next year?
It will be effective, Sheriff, September 1st. Yes.
I think they have requested the minimum.
1.5%?
Yeah,
Yes.
which is state
That is
minimum.
correct, yes.
Yes, I know we knew it was going there. I just didn't know when they were going to do it. What is it now?
1.83%.
1.8, okay. I'm going to move to approve this.
Yeah, well, the motion needs, yes, that's good. We can take a motion to approve this settlement subject to the state and DLG audit.
Yeah.
All right, so Marty's got a motion.
Second.
Got a second by Scott. Any other question or discussion?
Just again, commend you all, especially you on how good a job you do down there. To do that.
If there are no questions, all in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Jada.
Thank you.
All right, next we have with us from Kids on the Block, Miss Sarah Kitchens and Amanda Guerra. Did I say that correctly? Yeah, you got it. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
While she's passing some information out to you, I will go ahead and introduce us. We are with Kids on the Block. For those of y'all who don't know who we are, what we do, we are an educational puppet troupe. So our puppeteers, like Amanda there, we travel the state to the schools and present our programs. Right now we have 10 program topics. We have mental health, child abuse prevention, substance use prevention, problem solving, along with others. In order to do the work that we do, we have to have funding for that, and one of the ways we do that is through our fundraisers. This past Saturday, we hosted our The Great Puppet Sprint at Jim Roberts Community Park here in Simpson County. We had 92 participants, So it was a fun-filled day. Last year, we also got funding for programs in Simpson County from the Lee Eric Drake Foundation, and we're hoping to renew that partnership this year, but that isn't guaranteed. Amanda will now talk about our impact in Simpson County and program needs.
Yeah, so you all probably have seen our programs. I know we've come and spoke with you all before, but our programs have a big impact on the children that we serve. I would like to share just a couple of little short stories following programs that we've done in the past. And so the first story I would like to share is following our substance use prevention program. So we were at a school and we did that program for children in 4th and 5th grades. That program not only teaches children about substances and how they can affect your body, but it also teaches kids that, you know, if you're having any kind of problems at all, to talk to a safe adult. And so right after that program, we had a girl come up to one of our puppeteers, and she was really upset, and she told our puppeteer that her parents were arguing all the time, and she was upset about it, and she didn't know what to do to stop them. And then she went on to say that she had also started stealing, and she wanted help. She didn't want to steal anymore. She knew it was wrong, it was bad. And so because our program taught her about a safe adult and that it's okay to talk about things that you're having trouble with, we were able to escort her to the guidance counselor where they're able to talk to her and see what kind of help that she needs. And then another short story I would like to share with you is following our child abuse prevention program at an elementary school. It was for kids in kindergarten through 5th grade. We did the child abuse program, which obviously teaches about the 4 types of abuse and how to get help if you're in a bad situation. A couple of days after that program, the school counselor called and I talked to him. He had 2 children that came forward disclosing abuse. Both of those children were from the same family, but they separately disclosed. Those children were being sexually abused by their mother. That was taken to court. Those children were removed from the home, and the next time I talked to him, he told me how well those children were doing. Prior to our program, when the children were in the abusive situation, they had problems paying attention in class. They were getting in trouble. Their grades were bad, but he shared with me that because of our program, not only were they taken out of that situation that they were in, being sexually abused, but they now had no behavioral issues, and they were making good grades and thriving. And so those are the kind of impacts that our programs can have on children. And this is just an example of one of our puppets. This guy here is one of the puppets that went with us and is the reason why the 2 children disclosed that they were being sexually abused, because the kids felt comfortable talking to the puppets, and the puppet, really gave the kids the avenue to speak up. So like she was saying, we are looking for some additional funding to help us be able to present the number of programs that we would like to. On the little packet that I passed out there, you all have what we typically like to do, or what the schools, how many programs they typically would like. And so, if you all were able to help us out in any way, be able to reach the kids here in Franklin, we would appreciate any support you could give us. You're welcome. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, real quick, I see your program fee is $515.
Yes.
And y'all would like to request $1,030. Now, is that $515 per visit?
Per program. So typically when we go to a school, we do at least 2 programs. That way we can divide the kids up in smaller groups, but also age-appropriate groups, because we have different topics for different age levels. And smaller groups are better because, we have question-answer parts where the kids can ask the puppets questions. And so smaller groups are better, but also it's for age appropriateness for the programs that the kids see.
Okay. So each visit is essentially
At least two programs, yeah, and like Lincoln Elementary, they have their kids in, they like for us to do 5 programs because they have their kids come in during their specials times. So it's about 100 kids in each group when we see them. And so it really just depends on the school and how they have their kids broken up when they come. But we typically don't like more than 200 kids in a group because it is harder. It's, you know, it's puppets, and we really like the interaction with the kids where the kids are getting asked questions, and more kids get to ask questions and get their answers if they're broken up into smaller groups.
So would that be considered one program, and if you do the
So
5?
it would
if
be,
you break
we
it
would
up
do,
into
for
5,
$1,000, we would be able to do 2 programs at one location.
But I guess what I was asking, I mean, when you just said Lincoln comes and they would, you know, have to do like 5 groups, is that considered one program or is
So
that
it's
considered
5 different programs.
Okay.
So $5.15 per program. So we would do 5 separate. So we'd have one group come in, we do program for them, the next group come in after that. We usually do them back to back in the same day.
Okay.
If it, you know, according to what works best for the school schedule too.
And you've got 13 programs scheduled.
Yeah,
Here.
we would like be able to do those 13 programs. That way we're, you know, being able to see all of the kids in Simpson County. And you know, we have, like she was saying, 10 different topics, and we're hoping to, by the beginning of the school year, to introduce our multiculturalism program that we've developed. We're hoping to be able to do that. But the school will be able to choose what topic best fits their students. Like, you know, if they know they have kids that are dealing with bullying or cyberbullying, they may choose that program. Or, you know, if they feel like there's a substance use issue or we have a tobacco vaping program, they may choose that for the kids at like Lincoln. So, any other questions?
Gentlemen, y'all have any other questions?
Do you have, what other sponsors do you have?
So we have that Kids Run that we have here. I don't have the list of sponsors with me, but German American Bank is our title sponsor for that. They're our main sponsor. Do you know what some of
Do the schools sponsor anything?
They don't. I know the baseball club has sponsored before. There's the baseball club here. They've sponsored before, but we don't get any funding currently from the school system.
Okay.
Is that typical? I mean,
It's pretty typical. A lot of schools are trying to make sure the kids have food. And so, like, a lot of the times when a school is able to fund the program, it's usually their family resource center that will fund programs. But a lot of schools, they don't have the funding for extra programs. So if we're not able to, you know, get the funding ourselves, then they're not able to get the programs because they're more focused on the kids that have those immediate needs, like, you know, they need food in their backpacks sent home, or they need clothing. So a lot of the times, you know, schools aren't able to fund programs.
So y'all's request, according to what we're looking at here, would be that we fund $1,030 for this upcoming school year.
Right, and that'll help us cover the expenses we have that Kids Run, that'll help cover some of the expenses of some programs that are outside of what we were able to raise with our Kids Run.
Gentlemen, do y'all have any other questions or concerns? Counselor, any concerns?
I think this is just a budgetary thing if y'all want to. I don't think legal stuff gets involved in this.
Okay.
I don't really have a problem with it. I wish the schools would see the importance in it too.
Yeah.
They have a lot bigger budget than we have. Right. Because we've already done our budget, and we have.
Yeah, we've got the budget ready for the next fiscal year, and obviously we don't have we don't have a provision to transfer this money in this meeting, but if it's something y'all want to take up at a subsequent meeting, I mean, I'm sure it could be a budget transfer item from somewhere.
Well, after July 1, we'll be in the new budget, so we could transfer that. I don't have a problem with that $1,000 at all, but it's whatever the rest of the court thinks.
so maybe we look at it at the next
Could we
in a new
be able to
fiscal
just
year.
address this somewhere in the next meeting to get it? Okay. Well, it sounds like we would approve it, we just need to get it together properly so we can,
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
need to wait till the next budget year, which starts.
because you notice how that one settlement had to go through 2 audits?
Right.
Everything we do has to go through an
Has-
audit process, and if
we
we
did
don't
it.
check every box and dot every I and cross every T,
Save every receipt.
Yeah, we kind of get in a mess over it, so.
Absolutely.
It sounds like there's a willingness here, we just need to get it
Okay.
appropriated right budgetarily. So when we do, I'll have probably, in our office, the finance officer reach out to you.
Okay.
About how to submit the invoice and all of that sort of thing.
Sounds good, and you all have Sarah's business card there, so
Okay.
just feel free to reach out with any questions you have.
right.
Thank you all so much for
Thank
your time.
Thank you. All right, we'll kind of go a little bit out of order, guys, because we may be having some connection problems, so while we have Adia, is she connected here? Let's move on to that, which would actually be item number 2, discussion about the Safe Haven Baby Box. So we have with us Ms. Colleen Rafferty, who is the president of the Franklin Right to Life, and via Zoom, Adia Wuchner, who is the Kentucky Right to Life Executive Director. Adia, how are you doing? You seem like you're busy a lot because you're always traveling. Every time that I've been in a Zoom meeting, you're always doing it from your car.
It's a little garbled, but I think I can hear you. I hope, it might just be because it's just from the Lord speaker, but you guys can be all right.
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for having, Colleen and I both there, and the judge and members of this court. I'll, open it and let Colleen open and then respond to any questions that you may have you, or I believe the county attorney may be joining. And I apologize that I'm wiggling in the car. I had this phone up on my dash and I overheated my computer, so I was trying to find a best spot along the passage. But I let Colleen open and a little bit about the discussion of baby box and the judge will get point of view, and then I can respond to any questions that you may have on legitimacy, the law concerning it, and just how the process works, and why there are questions sometimes about why firehouses, why not hospitals, and also working with the Kentucky Legal City Attorney System.
Yes, I'm here to answer any questions you have on the Safe Haven Baby Box. I don't know if you have watched any videos, or it's all over the TV where different counties in Tennessee and Kentucky and throughout the nation are getting baby boxes now. And we just want to keep people in our area safe, and a lot of the times you won't get people from Franklin necessarily using a baby box, but Bowling Green will come here. Our girls will go to Bowling Green, Scottsville, we'll get those. We'll get Portland, Tennessee. Portland, I don't believe, as far as I know, they don't have a baby box. So we'll definitely see, babies from Portland if we get a baby.
Do y'all have any numbers or idea, like in the area? So when I say in the area, maybe a 30 to 50 mile radius of Franklin, how many babies annually?
I think you're asking the number of baby boxes, is that correct?
No, the number of babies that may get surrendered, like in a given year, like people that are dropping in this general area.
Bowling Green, Kentucky, what I've been told, Warren County has had 2 baby boxes, or 2 babies, has used their baby box system twice.
I think I can respond to that. It's the number of baby boxes in the vicinity. We can map those out for you. Tomorrow we will be installing in Kentucky with the blessing of the community. And every baby box is really a community blessing. And the community is really rallying around them, from the Fiscal Court to the churches to, of course, our Fresh Life organization and work we've done at Safe Haven. Just a little bit of background. We have had Safe Haven laws in Kentucky for many, many years under PRS 620. But what we do know is that babies were not being surrendered. They could have surrendered them in firehouses churches, or at hospitals. The safe haven box, under the KR's chapters, which we call, newborn safety devices, being installed in the firehouses have been most effective when that law was passed in 2022. And then we've updated a few things since then, clearing things up in Kmart. Box 67 will be installed in the state in Middlesboro, Kentucky tomorrow with a blessing at 1 o'clock. We have 3 more on order for the eastern part of the state. There are big box in Bowling Green. That was one of the first, and that was one of the first surrenders for a baby. And then we had 3 babies surrendered in the state since the Clipper began 4.5 years ago with the state baby boxes. And we actually have another surrender. We're waiting for that community to share that news. It's not our my personal experience as a nurse in ER, only ER nurses, that others didn't see lives surrender. I'm the former chair of health author, and I brought this issue when I was in the House of Representatives. What we saw normally were the tragic stories of babies in landfill who basically brought in duffel bags of Congress ones. So, the more that we have the baby boxes in the area of the state, one fire, she was in Warsaw, Kentucky. We have all the great girls in our neighborhood, in our community. It may not be a mama march that may go to another community, but it may be somebody like to the next community. And so that's why it's important, so important to have available and talk more, especially in these cases of children involved in the last year, these types of agencies, those things do not provide places big boxes. They put the door in the closet, and unfortunately, attention to bury baby in the yard. So, with that, I always remember ARS 620, KRS chapter 135, laws that allow
Yeah, I think that answers the question, and of course, obviously in our last meeting, our legal counsel wasn't here, and anytime we enter into any kind of agreement or contract, we obviously want legal review. And I think, I'm not going to try to speak for the other 4 gentlemen on the fiscal court, but I believe that the court has a willingness to do this and a willingness to help fund it. But the counselor has some legal concerns about the way the agreement is written, and I completely understand his concern. So I'm going to let him walk through some of that, because while I think, am I right? I'm looking at you two guys and you two guys. We have a willingness to try to help and get this done, but we do not need to get the county in a bad spot doing so. And so I'll let Sam talk about his concerns that's in the agreement here.
I looked over it, sorry I was not here the last time. As a matter of general principle, one of the first concerns I have, let me back up. I'm all for saving children if we can do so. I have 4 kids. You don't have to sell me on the concept. My concern is there's a doctrine called the Good Samaritan doctrine. Basically in the law is, unless you're statutorily obligated to do something, if you choose not, but if you're not, if you choose not to do something, you don't accrue any liability for something. It's like the Good Samaritan on the side of the road. If someone's hurt or injured or whatever, and you choose not, like the scripture says, walk on by, you do not have unless you're like a doctor or an ambulance worker or something, a police officer, you don't have a statutory authority, you're not obligated to do that, you can't be held liable for not doing that. However, if you choose to aid or assist and through your own negligence make things worse, then you can be held liable. And so my concern is, as a matter of general theory, if the county chooses not to do it and something happens or doesn't happen, the county and the taxpayers can't be held liable for it. However, if you choose to participate in this, you run the risk of doing that. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I am saying, you need to walk into this with your eyes wide open. Basically, the agreement pretty much, for the most part, if anything doesn't go right, the county's on the hook for everything. The agreement, Safe Harbor, Baby Box, all they're saying is we'll do the assembly, we're going to put the baby box in, and basically anything happens after that is on the county. The products liability, all that stuff, there's not any real issue here. Also, my understanding is someone has to be present, I guess, at the fire hall where you're putting this, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there may be times where, because of calls and stuff, the guys that are supposed to be there full time may be heading out, and there won't be somebody at the fire hall. I'm just saying there may be a staffing issue here. So the county, they're basically saying we're required to have insurance on this, which obviously we would, but that's something else you're gonna, I don't know what, CAECO may be perfectly fine and not have to worry about any additional premiums or concerns on that, but that's something that's going to have to be looked into. And so the contract, honestly, is pretty one-sided. All obligations are on us, pretty much. And so, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, fellas. What I am saying is, before you step into this, because anytime you deal with babies, things, not all of them are perfectly healthy and fine. Some of them aren't, and there are some significant liability issues involving, treatment and care of little children. So I'm being the skunk at the garden party, and I know that, but I'm trying to just make sure everybody understands if they do this, they need to go into it with their eyes wide open.
So,
Could I respond?
yes.
What Mr. Brooklyn legal? I can't see him speaking, but I believe it's the county attorney. Is it the county attorney or member of that committee? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the county attorney was who was speaking.
Okay. I just wanted to mention these concerns, as you can imagine, as we put this into law, it came into law, we went back and everything was cleared up. I want to refer you, and I'll afterwards make sure our records to CAECO, of course, all the legalities there. There's, protections and for the counties. I mean, we wouldn't have 67 if we're more in, this year for the process of warrants that are already reported. So these contracts are already have been reviewed, and some of the questions I think that we may have concerns about have already been addressed, especially when it with the CAECO, which of course provides the insurance underwriters for our counties and cities. So I can maybe address that and get that information to you or connect you to the attorneys and staff at CAECO that we worked with several years ago to make sure everything is I think that might be helpful, because I understand your concerns, but all of them, I want to say have been addressed, and I do understand the Good Samaritan law. I'm a nurse practitioner, and how that applies. But this is a little bit different aspect. The concern, when the contract is done, also the application is done with the city, county, with the county and fire and Safe Haven, their attorneys look at it, but also they look at where, they have to look at where the placement is going to be. It is the proper placement. Do they have proper response time? All of that is also reviewed before moving forward. You know, that's why they can't go into a totally volunteer fire department. You know, what are the needs for, let's say, backup or EMS? Should everyone be out on call? So as we begin the process, all of those things, those issues come up and are discussed and clarified before the.
Okay, Adi, I have a question. I have a question about what you just brought up there. That evaluation process about how we go about determining whether this would be a good fit. So would the evaluation begin before this agreement is signed or after this agreement is signed? And the reason I ask that is, while it is true that we do have staffing 24/7, 365, we have minimal staffing, so at any given time, if there is a call, we could be a period of time, whether that be 30 minutes or whether it be 3 hours or whether it be half the day, that there could be a period of time that no one is at the fire hall. So is all of those things evaluated by the Safe Haven Baby Box group before?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I think I hear what you're saying. It's a little hard, but yes, during make the application and that sits in. They look at it with their attorney, then they evaluate the site and the conditions, as you mentioned, response time, and is this going to work? And what is the backup? How is this going to work? Because we have another baby box that went into an EMS call center, because that seemed, their staff 24 hours, and that seemed to be the best location. So for every community, it's diligently looked at so that the response time for the child should be surrendered is within the parameters set by law.
Okay, so here's my question about, can you hear me okay now?
Is that again?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the process would be, we fill out the application, there is an evaluation, and we don't enter an agreement until the evaluation process is over.
In essence, right now, the application is, you're agreeing that we want to do this for our community. So then there is also that there's a follow-up, as I said, where is it going to be? What's that location? An assessment, it's called an assessment. And we don't make the assessment, you know, we have a spark fund and calling, we work with communities on the financial end. And that process, that due diligence with the community is with Safe Haven as well, because they have a responsibility, you know, they want to make sure where this surrender, safe surrender of a child is going to take place. It has to be within their parameters and also the parameters that set forth in Kentucky law in our statutes.
okay,
So it's
the issue, 2 or 3 issues. One is, this is the county attorney again. Can you hear me okay?
yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry I didn't introduce myself. Concern. Issue is, I understand there's statutes that codify this and set this up, but I don't think there's statutes that indemnify local jurisdictions from liability if something goes south. And so, which is the reason we have provisions here requiring us to have insurance, so if something does go south. And so that's something right now we don't have, but if you choose to go into this, it would be something subject to that. So I don't think just because something is permitted and set up by statute doesn't mean we're protected. Now, another issue is, and I want to make sure I understand this to my satisfaction, The $16,000, is that paid before or after this committee decides there's a proper place to set one up?
Once everything is approved, once it is a go, so I'll go to your last question first. Once it is a go for your community, they have evaluated its site assessment, that you've sent the application, then once everything's signed off on, then the box is paid for and the production of the box, safety of the box begins.
Okay.
That's usually about 8 weeks before delivery, just to have a little bit of what happens once it's delivered, just so you know. It is delivered, there will be 10 periodic checks before we even think about having a blessing. And those are at different times, making sure that there are code checks, making sure response times, making sure that everything is working correctly, not just with the box, but with manpower and the site. So it's a process forever. Let's say what I would say go. But I also, sir, I'm going to refer you, and I'll get the name to Keiko, because Keiko, after the second law was passed, Keiko came in with the attorneys with all of their questions, and all of that was reviewed again the second time by law. So I'm going to make sure that you have all the information that I think would be cleared up for you with Keiko.
I think we're talking different things. I understand that there's statutory authorization and statutory procedure for setting these up. I don't dispute that. I have no problem with that. My concern is if the county chooses to participate in this, there is potential liability for the county if something doesn't go right. And I understand, just because the county gets sued, we get sued, not all the time, but it's not uncommon, whether it's somebody involved in an accident, that's the most common one, is someone, one of our county employees is involved in an accident while they're working under county time, or other things like data centers. We're in lawsuits all the time. And so my point is, just because we get sued doesn't mean we're going to lose. But one of my jobs is try to limit exposure where I can. And I understand there's law out there permitting this, there's law out there setting up, how things are to be. I understand that lawyers have looked at this. That's fine. I understand Bowling Green's done it. I understand other areas around the communities around the state have. But honestly, I'm not the county attorney for the state or Bowling Green or anywhere else. I'm here for now. And so what I'm saying is, when you enter into this, be very careful, because you are subjecting yourself to potential liability.
Give me just a few minutes to make a comment here, and gentlemen, magistrates, this comment is for y'all as much as anyone, so listen very closely to what I'm going to say, because what I want after that is an acknowledgement if that is correct or incorrect, or if we need to do something differently. Because what I hear and understand is we all have a willingness to help. Is that correct? We have a willingness to help. All right. And I know this is, Colleen, I know seems like a long drawn out process, but if we're going to do it, we need to do it and make sure we get it right and make sure that everyone is protected as they can be. So I think, and gentlemen, this is for y'all to hear, and y'all give me feedback to this. I think what we need to do at this point is check what our insurance coverage actually is and what it would be and what this insurance would cover if we enter into this agreement, and also examine exactly what these KRSs and laws say and what our liability might be, and then determine that the steps in the process are as I believe follows. The first thing would be we would fill out the application. The second thing would be they would do an assessment. If the assessment is approved, then we would make payment and enter the agreement. If we verify what our insurance, what the law and what the liability says, and verify what the steps are, then we could make a better determination on what to do. Is that?
No, when, they're talking about determining, they would do an evaluation. Do they come and look at our community and see where the best places to put this would be, or are they just saying, or, you know, I know it's been brought up about the fire department.
Can't hear the question. Somebody repeat that question.
He's asking during the assessment, would you assess the entire community, or do you just assess the fire hall location? Like, is there a better place in the community to locate it?
Because the reason I'm asking, we've got people 24 hours a day at the ambulance service. We got people 24 hours a day at the hospital. I think it would be a better location to have it close to the hospital.
Judge,
That's my
I
opinion.
would say, but if you identified, I want to go back to one other piece, and I will burn it you, the attorneys at CAECO. But CAECO, because they provide your risk management and your administrator for the counties, the boxes, this was a frequent meetings with them. So they've already reviewed everything because they're county owned or city owned and they're managed from the firehouses. So they work alongside the communities to ensure that your infrastructure and liability and safety procedures are met as well. I wanted to kind of assure the county attorney, and I will get a direct name from CAECO to reach out on that piece. I guess the fire, what they're going to assess, the fire district or the station that is identified. And is there a second location that you think may be preferable?
Yeah, he stated either the ambulance service or the hospital possibly.
And then, I mean, we have people 24 hours a day at the jail.
I'll address, I think I've heard the word hospital, I want to address this issue. It's surprising, the hospitals have been a wonderful place to surrender babies for 20 years. They don't get surrendered there. The anonymity, no name, no blame, no shame, no question, has caused us to, after many years of study, that's why firehouses and EMS provide a more trusted, and that's why babies are getting surrendered at the firehouse. There's people coming and going at the hospital. I'll be honest, when I was chair of health and welfare, the hospitals and their attorneys were not sure years ago if they even wanted to participate. But the other thing is, by law, you could leave a baby in a hospital bed, emergency room, you could leave it outside. It wasn't happening. There's too much going on, and many times a couple or a woman in crisis, at that moment, what they're looking for is to privately, without complaint, surrender their child. These are hard decisions. These decisions often made not by someone who just didn't want their child, but someone making a decision, this is not the right time, I can't parent, and I don't want to take it, cause the end of my child's life, but I want to place her safely with no one knowing it was me. And I'm just being honest why firehouses over time have proven, and where the first responders are to be the most effective place for the baby boxes.
Yeah, we completely get that, and we would like to provide a place. I mean, but we just want to be sure that every step we take, that everything we're doing is what we should be doing reasonably and responsibly. So,
because if somebody, I hate we're even having this discussion. I'll be honest with you. I hate we live in a society where we even have to discuss something like this. But if somebody were to put a baby in this box, the first thing they're going to do, I would assume, would be try to get it to a hospital for medical care.
so yeah.
So the closer you can have it to the hospital, and if they want to keep it anonymous, they can't have cameras on it, and there's these monitors and a siren or whatever they get to have to notify that there's a baby that has been left, then really, why does it have to be at a place that has somebody there 24 hours a day? If they don't want it, if they want to, and I understand there'd be people that may come, you know, if it saves a baby, that's the ultimate goal. But if you want them to be anonymous where they can't be videoed and they don't want it to be around people where they would be scared to drop one off because they're afraid it'd be seen, why would we need to leave it at a place there is somebody there 24 hours a day? Why couldn't it be somewhere that's close where they could go and it could be monitored, you know, the monitor could trigger the alarm where somebody could be there within a minute or 2 minutes or something, and do it that way and seek the medical care that this infant would need. Those are my kind of questions.
Yeah.
Marty, the reason couple of possibilities here. The concern about having someone 24/7 is because one is sometimes the monitors, the alarms work better than others. Nothing is perfect in the world of men. However, also, I have learned over the years if I need something like to do, sometimes, particularly in the wee hours of the day or sometimes in the middle of the day, there's 15 different things going on at once, and trying to get, sometimes it's not a minute away, sometimes it's more like 5, 10, 15, half an hour away, because, and I understand this would probably go towards the top of the priority list, but if first responders are in the middle of something, sometimes it's not that easy to disengage. So that's the reasoning why you're wanting somebody around 24/7. And I agree with that. There are issues I have with this, but that is not one of them.
Well, that brings up another question. If the monitor doesn't work and nobody goes and checks it, there's not any way of knowing if what happens then.
One of the things is you would be training,
I'm sure they test these
I would be
every so
training
often, right?
people to make sure you look ever so often.
Well, there's a $600 annual fee for testing and monitoring. I mean, they check and evaluate. I think we all want to help. I think we want to just make sure that we are taking every step that is right and accurate. And I think really our next step is to check and double check what the insurance says, what is actually in that law and the liability of such, and then double check exactly what the process steps are to get this done. I think that's a fair evaluation of where we're at. So if guys, if y'all are all good with that, I can get all of this information back together by our July meeting.
I'm good with it.
Do I need to make a motion to table it till July
No,
meeting?
I don't think you need to.
Don't need to?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I didn't know.
But I mean, we do want to help. We would love to see this. I would love to see this happen.
I did want to answer what Marty had said. In Warren County, I went and visited their Safe Haven baby box, and it is set up to where they check their boxes. The fire department itself checks the box every week as far as making sure, it's working properly.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not going to sit there for
They don't
6
check,
months.
they don't wait once a week, check for a baby, they check it to make
Was
sure
the
it works.
question about
Make sure it's
calibration, they're rechecked, they're trained to calibrate and recheck. They have their safeties and they do on the box.
Right.
Every week, once a year, that's why you have that, there's a total recalibration and evaluation by Safe Haven. That's where it's kind of like an annual, like a lab or lab for the hospitals, and a re-evaluation from the company.
Yeah.
It takes about 2 minutes, is what he told me.
All right. I've got my list here of things that I need to get information pulled together on for you guys. So we'll get that together and revisit and take it up and try.
Another thing, when you're checking on that, if we put it out there at the fire department, and there's cameras there now, we had to pull those cameras off the building, does that do anything for like our coverage in that area too?
Yeah, that's another good question.
And what about the city? The city owns the building,
Yeah,
so we
and
need
they have
to.
agreed, they had initially agreed, but I think we need to make them aware of some of the liability issues. Because the city actually owns the building. We manage, oversee, and maintain the personnel and operate the fire department, but it's in the city-owned building. So,
They got a dog in the fight too.
yeah. So let me get all this information together, and we're not trying to put it off, I promise you, but we just want to make sure that if we move forward, we're doing it right.
I understand, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate
Yeah.
you being so thorough.
And I appreciate what you do in our
Yes,
community
thank you.
through Franklin Right for Life.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Nadia, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I missed part of
That-
your walking back and forth, but thank you very much. If you have any more questions, call me, reach out.
Well, yeah, I'll be emailing out a group of questions here pretty soon.
I couldn't hear what the final amount was. It made a motion.
No, we're taking no action today. We're going to get some information together and reevaluate.
Okay, all right, thank you guys.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have another gentleman that would like to address the court, Mr. Greg Grauer. You're welcome to come to the podium, sir.
I have several questions I want to address the board, but before I do that, a lot of people think I'm just a lawnmower guy, landscaper, and a greenhouse. I have 5 college degrees. One of them is human development, which pertains to psychology and sociology. Another one is a bachelor's in education. Another one is an associate in accounting. And the last one, I had one class left to take, and I'd had a bachelor's in electronics. The first one, for me to get that degree, I had to do a lot of counseling work. Sociology depends upon quite a bit of family. I worked with the state of Illinois in the education department to work with children that have been abused. Not just one spot, but through the entire state of Illinois. The other one, psychology, I did a lot of counseling. I mean, a lot of counseling work with fire departments on accidents, with families that lost their house, and the work to get replacement. The other thing that I was involved in quite a bit was with coal miners. A lot of that took place where he was underground, and you would see people take their lives simply because they was having family problems. Along with that, I was classified as an EMTA Class 2 medical assistant, in which we took care of people underground that got hurt very bad. We had to, on a couple occasions, take a person's arm off, take a person's leg off, pack that in ice, and transport them out of the mine into an ambulance or a helicopter. It wasn't just a plain day thing. I taught school for 4 years, and at that particular time, the last contract would have been for $8,000. No medical insurance. I left, went back into the mine. While in the mine, I took a lot of classes on arbitration, in which I sat through an arbitration case and defended a coal miner. I didn't have a degree in it, but I had enough time to do it. Now, the other one, the associates in accounting, I was financial secretary of our local, which consisted of 1,400 active miners, 2,400 retirees, and I was in charge of all the financing that took place. My average income was between $25,000 and $30,000 a year. I was audited 4 times, twice by the government and twice by auditors in our union. It was a rough job, no computer, all done by hand. My electronics things, I didn't go to IBEW school. The federal government came in and gave us exams. We was given 100 questions. We had to score at least an 85 or higher, and then we turned around and had to go work on a piece of machinery and have it run within 4 hours. My licenses are for low voltage, medium voltage, high voltage, and surface voltage. Surface voltage was high tension wires. We would lose power, we had to come out and find out what caused it. Now, the first question I have for the board, do you really understand what this data center is going to do? It's not just argument over water, electricity, or usage. It's something more greater than what the average person knows.
I think the easy answer to your question, Mr. Grauer, is obviously I don't think any of us completely comprehend what the ramifications or the results of that would be, which is why this body of government took a step to try to implement some protections to the community for which we're being sued.
Well, the data center is actually collecting information and is tied to the country of Japan, the country of Russia, any place in the Middle East that can accumulate any information on you and I. You make a purchase online from Amazon, they know about it. They know about it.
Yep.
This data stuff was first created by the federal government, and the largest place is hospitals. So they could have information available to you no matter where you went in the United States. A lot of people don't realize that. All they think about is noise, water, pollution, and what it's actually used for. They did a heck of a cover-up at what meeting I went to. They did not explain one thing, what the situation was, what it consisted of. So I don't know if any of the rest of these people know about that, but I did a great deal of study through the University of Illinois on data center, because we had a lot of stuff going on in the mine that we had to be recorded. Now, the first question. I want to address the board on it. I know, Mason, you'll have your opinion, but I'd rather have something come out from the board. I see all the time these communities having these water parks. Along with that, they have a swimming pool. We had a swimming pool. When Chad Jackson was in, we ran it. Brand new liner, everything put in it. When Chad left, Lisa Devers and Tim Cook did not have one idea as to how to use it. They convinced the people to close it down and to cover it up. Nothing's been done to replace it.
You're saying Lisa Devers closed?
Pardon?
You're saying Lisa Devers closed the pool at the school?
It was one of the big reasons. She did not have the knowledge to run the pool. The pumps, the chloride stuff like that. Her nor Tim Cook had one idea. They did not.
You realize that wasn't at the park,
Huh?
right? You realize they had nothing to do with the pool at the school, right?
They maintained it, because Chad Jackson maintained it, because it was with the park.
Lisa wasn't even at the park when that pool was at the school.
Lisa was at the park.
Not when that pool was at the school, Greg.
Before that, Chad Jackson.
That was
took
a
care of it.
school project.
Lisa Devers left and went to another place after Thurman left. Then she came back.
Thurman?
Huh?
After Thurman left?
After Thurman. Lisa left and went to
Which
another
Thurman?
place.
Which Thurman?
Steve.
He was at the park.
He was at the park.
The pool was at the school.
Huh?
The pool was at the school. The community pool was at the school, not at the
Right, it
park.
was at the school, but it was up to the
No,
Chad Jackson.
that was the
Wait a
school.
minute, let me get you straight here. There was a grant given through the park to do the work that they did, and they also had a grant given to them to replace the liner at the pool. Chad Jackson was responsible to take care of that because nobody else would do it. Nobody else had the knowledge of doing it. We're wrong.
Let's get right here. You came in last week or week before and wanted to know when our next meeting was, and I told you.
Yeah.
I had no idea what you wanted to address or talk about. Here's what I would appreciate you doing. You said the data center. You said a swimming pool. What I would prefer you do at this point is tell us what your other concerns are, and then maybe you and I can have a conversation, and then we can come
The
back.
thing I'm concerned about was everybody says that that was done, or that pool was used for recreation for families. Once it got covered up, nothing else was done. Nothing.
Okay?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I've seen done at the park, one thing, that weightlifting thing, they don't realize how big of a lawsuit they could have if somebody got hurt there. The other thing, they put in a walking trail. All it is you walk down one side with a set of things on one side, turn around and walk back again. That's it. There's no trail or anything. Chad Jackson made a trail.
So am I hearing that most of your issues was what's going on at the park?
My main issue is what's going on in the county. There is no influence at all being done by this county board or the city board. There is a lot of money being spent with nothing in return for the public.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
And we're all entitled to an opinion.
That's why I'm asking the board.
That's your opinion, Greg.
That's my opinion. What is the opinion of the
And
board?
I think if you do your research, you're gonna find out something about that swimming pool.
Pardon?
That pool was operated by the city of Franklin.
It run by-
You're totally incorrect when you're talking about the pool. Totally incorrect.
Let me tell you.
That pool was closed because of cracking. We did electrical work on that. You couldn't hold water in that pool, Greg. This is before you even come to this community, Greg.
Well, apparently I was informed incorrectly. I think something needs to be done, and I think it needs to be a joint county and a city thing to get something for these people, families to have.
So here's what I can tell you. The issue of the data center is being addressed as best as we possibly can. I know there is a group of folks right now looking about the possibility of another community pool. I cannot tell you when or how it will happen, but I know there's a group looking at it. I can tell you that spending tax dollars for a swimming pool would be well underneath spending tax dollars for roads and emergency services. So we've got to evaluate all those. I would venture to say that if you took a look at our budget, you would have a hard time finding where we could pull anything that we're doing out to go build a $5, $10, $12, $15 million swimming pool, which will be roughly the cost of that today. No less than 5, probably as much as 15, maybe $20 million. The Parks Board is working on that. The Parks Board is who oversees and operates the park. This board does not oversee and operate the park. We help fund the park to the needs that they have, but we do not operate or oversee the park. That is the obligation of the Parks Board. So I appreciate your concerns, I really do. And I can almost guarantee you this. There's probably not anyone in this community that wants things to be better in this community than the group of men that sit behind this table. I'm not saying that we have every single answer. We're willing to listen to everyone, but it takes money to do these things.
Well, what are you going to do with the $350,000 that the park has been awarded that they will get in 2026 and 2027?
I don't know anything about the money the park's
It was wide
been
open in the Franklin paper.
Huh? I don't know
And
anything about
it's going to be because they lost bingo. $350,000. That was in last week's paper.
That's a long.
They
way
did
to
apply for a
15
grant,
million.
correct? They did apply for a grant,
It was in the paper, wasn't
$350,000
it, Mark?
grant.
He just said here and said a pool will be from $5 to $12 million. How far is $350,000 go on that, Greg?
Okay, then how come you turn around and spend all the money on the sheriff's department to put a fancy new sign up?
It wasn't $350,000.
And we
It was money that wasn't-
we didn't spend general tax revenue
That was
for
drug
your
tax. Was that out
fancy
of the
new
drug
sign you're
fund,
talking
Sheriff?
about. That was,
Sheriff, where did that sign money come from?
We have a donation account, it was money I raised over the last 14 years, the county did not pay for it. The only thing they paid for was the moving of the letter county blockage.
That answers that
Had
question.
nothing to do with county money whatsoever.
Where's the county fair at? We don't have one no more.
Would you like to organize it? Would you like to organize it? Because I know the
I'll
last-
work on it.
No, I didn't say work on
But,
it.
and not trying to be funny, but the reason there is no county fair is because in a community of 20-some thousand people, we wouldn't have 200 people show
Don't
up.
we have a representative on the fair board?
We don't have a fair board.
We don't have a fair board. I'm on
The
the
fair
Parks
board's been
Board.
disbanded?
Huh? There is no fair board.
Who's in charge of running the park?
Lisa
What's that
Lisa
have to do with
Devers
fire?
is the park director, and there is a parks board that oversees it. And we do have a member of this court, Magistrate Poston is the court's appointment to
Has
that.
it been discussed about a fair?
No, I mean, when we did when they was doing the 30-year plan, a few people might have brought up,
Well,
we
my
don't
family
have
used to enjoy going to it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The next question I have, there was 2 stop signs removed on 73 and 532.
5 what?
5:30.
What?
532?
I think it's 5:35.
32 or 31, I don't know what it is.
I think it's 5:35.
Where
At the intersection there of 73
It's Gold
and
City
the road
Road.
coming off 100 and the road coming out of Gold City,
585.
535.
585.
That was state work. Who did it?
The state put that sign up.
Who was involved in having that removed?
I was,
Why?
because it made no sense. And after look, hold on, before you say one word. They never done an assessment out there, and after we had multiple complaints, they finally come and done a 2-week evaluation and made their own determination to remove it because they said they made a mistake.
Have you sat on Boat Ramp Road and watched the traffic coming out of Gold City? Have you actually seen or watched how many accidents people
How many
were
has been there?
killed at that intersection? People were killed on Gold City because they do not slow up coming out of the
I don't
county.
really think we've had any deaths on Gold City Road in the last few years, have we, Sheriff?
There was one.
There's been some serious wrecks.
But not at that intersection of 585 and 73.
past it.
There's been a couple of wrecks at that intersection, but nobody died.
These people have been killed.
Not at that intersection, sir.
How do you know? I know of 2 of them.
Because we just got the 3-year study on it.
I think the stop sign should be installed because the grain trucks that come out of the county don't slow up. The rock trucks that come out of the quarry don't slow up.
You don't travel Gold City Road from Gold City into town. You
I
travel it from
do,
Boat Ramp Road.
Myron. I live right on Gold City Road practically.
I know exactly where you live, sir.
And I sat there and endangered my family. There was just an accident that took place with my neighbor, Mr. Burrow, had a truck that was 2 days old. An individual came off Gold City Road, hit him head on. That individual did not have insurance through the United States. That
I'm gonna
individual's
respectfully
insurance
ask we move
was
on.
out of the country.
I'm gonna respectfully ask
Yeah,
that we move
yeah.
on because.
You know
this
what
is
I'm
getting
talking
old.
about, Marty?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right there at-
You've talked
Mr.
about
Brower,
swimming
I
pool, you
appreciate
don't
you
know what
coming
you're
and having your
talking about.
concerns.
I don't think you're doing your job, and I think you was out of state by doing that. That was a state road. That wasn't a county road.
I'm gonna respectfully ask you to either sit down or vacate the podium.
I don't want you to respect me by
Sheriff,
you.
would you mind to have this guy moved out of here, please?
I won't move.
Yes, so
yeah,
we're gonna
Let him
have,
sit right down.
you can go sit down. You're welcome to go sit down, but if you have concerns, you're welcome to bring those concerns in, but we're not gonna hash all this out up here on this camera.
I'm gonna sit down.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, gentlemen, the minutes of our June 2nd meeting, we need a motion and a second to approve those minutes as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty, a second by Myron. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
I
Any
abstain.
it carries with one abstention. Sydney? Next, gentlemen, is the IT contract with BK Technology. We have Mr. Barry Key with us today. If we have questions, I do know that Sam reviewed some information in the contract, and we conveyed that information back to Mr. Key, and he was very nice and obliging the concern, and I think you've reviewed the change that was made, and I think it's very accommodating. Would you agree?
Yes.
And so, I don't know, gentlemen, do y'all have any other questions or concerns with the contract?
Now, this will take effect when?
July 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And y'all have been making some evaluations to our system and such, right?
So if something happens between now and July 1,
We're still, ISTT is still
okay,
providing through the end of this fiscal year.
okay,
But Mr. Key has also said if we have an issue and they cannot, he's willing to help us.
okay,
So.
all right.
We've actually addressed an issue at jail.
Okay. So gentlemen, all I would need is a motion and a second to approve this contract and authorize the county judge to sign it.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty?
Second.
Second by Jeffrey. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. The next two items, gentlemen, are all on the same list, the flex roads and the paving list. The first item would be to approve the roads that are highlighted in yellow on the list as your flex fund roads. And that amount of flex money being spent on those three would be $130,000. And these roads were evaluated by Bobby throughout the county, and this was his recommendation.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty?
Second.
Second by Myron. And any question?
That $130,000 figure we're using,
Mm-hmm.
the state has never given us the exact number. That's just our best guess.
Yeah. And I'm concerned that our numbers from the state could dwindle after we went through the 30-day freeze on the gas tax.
And those roads have to go through an approval by the state, so for certain criteria they have to meet.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had a motion and a second. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All right, the next item, gentlemen, would be to approve the county road paving list, which would be these three that are part of the flex along with the other roads listed on this section here.
I noticed there's,
All right.
I noticed on here on the park, is that little spot we talked about that day?
The park has an area, if you come into the park past the tennis courts before you get to the ag field, there's kind of
Why?
triangle.
Yeah.
Right there. That goes from that parking spot and tries to take in some of that area for this so rough. So,
Okay. They actually had talked about changing that road where people they was talking about taking out part of that triangle and making a road come around where people would have to pull up there and stop before they could go back and forth. I don't know if they did that or what, but I was out there at the park and the cars going through there, they were like dragging the bumpers, trying to get, when they was going through there.
Put part of Henson on there. The reason I want to say something is, my suggestion, if you all approve these, is when that paving gets done, I'll leave that road to last. Because I usually figure kind of heavy on these figures, we usually have something left over.
Okay.
So I would probably extend that, whatever.
All right.
To give you an idea.
Now, this is for this fall paving, right?
This will be this upcoming year.
Yeah.
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 So it'll be done by this time.
July to October.
So if they mail down another road like Salem Road, maybe they won't forget.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna I don't want to start anything this fall, because that's what we got caught into, is they push us off so late.
Yeah.
When we try to do the fall because of the flex refunds, but they pushed us off so late that the weather got bad, so we ended up with a milling spot that was left to stay all winter, and I won't do that again.
Thank you, Bobby.
I don't think we've gotten a motion on this yet.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty?
Second.
Second by Scott. So any other questions or concerns? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is the county clerk postage machine lease agreement. We need a motion and a second to approve that and authorize the judge to sign that agreement. This is for $221.13 per quarter. Nicole has advised me that that's up approximately $56 from the previous contract.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron.
Second.
Second by Jeffrey. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
The next item, gentlemen, is to review or approve the use of some RDOT funds. If you're familiar, or maybe if you're unfamiliar, these are funds that that come through the TVA program, Economic Development Program, and they are actually held in an account at DLG for each county. So like, although Simpson County gets a portion of RDOT funds through this TVA program, we don't have a fund or an account here. It doesn't show really on our balance books or our sheet here. And this money is all for economic development programs and processes. And it doesn't necessarily have to be only through the Industrial Authority, but the projects that we approve this money for has to relate to economic development in some way. And so the Industrial Authority has requested $45,000 of these funds, and you'll see on that one agreement page that it is for a dry well system and some signage at the Henderson Industrial Park area out there. That's $45,000. Our current balance in Simpson County's RDOT balance with DLG is just a few $100s over $473,000, like $473,200 and some dollars. I don't remember the exact number.
And all that money was at the industrial board, then they told us we had to give it back, right? They was gonna hold it.
Yeah, they were gonna hold it, then it had to be here. DLG holds it for every county. Every county that is in this program, they hold it there, which I guess is kind of good. They get to get some interest off of it. We're not getting to get any of that interest, but anyway, that's the way it works. That's the way it was set up, and that's the way it was set up legislatively. I mean, this was the RDOT funding was all through legislative efforts of the state legislature. So I guess that's the way they established this to operate and run. But what we have to do is approve the resolution to expend $45,000 of this money and authorize the judge to sign the document to release that money from DLG to the Franklin Simpson Industrial Authority.
And they're planning on doing the dry wells back here on the backside of the Henderson Industrial Park where,
Yeah.
I mean, it got almost up in those warehouses back there.
Yeah, if y'all remember.
To the dock doors, I mean, it was deep back there, so they hope this will take care of that.
If y'all remember, we approved some of this money a while back for a resistivity test that was done out there because they were trying to determine where they could put this dry well system.
Mm-hmm. So much.
All right, so I got a motion by Marty to approve the resolution and authorize the signatures. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the next item, gentlemen, was not originally on the agenda when it went out Friday, but I think it shows on the agenda on the portal, and you've got the information there. And the reason it wasn't on there Friday is I didn't get the information until Monday, at no fault of anyone, but we just want to get it on so we can move with this. Y'all recall in our last meeting, we talked about getting some blowers to blow grass and so forth, and having some seasonal workers to help with mowing and all of that through the public works. Y'all all with me? Right. So the recommendation here is employee resolution number 2026-06-16 EMP-PW, and this is to hire Chris Ray and Kent Perry as seasonal employees of Simpson County Public Works for the summer mowing season.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron?
Second.
Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? Does Chris know that he doesn't get free lunch with this? Okay. I'll call him after a while. I'm going to call him after a while and make sure, I'm going to ask him, did Bobby tell you you get free lunch? Because, as you don't. All right. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, gentlemen, is to review or approve the cash transfer. This is a federal grant fund to the general fund in the amount of $10,753.44.
So moved.
Motion by Scott.
Second.
Second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The next item, gentlemen, is a cash transfer from the general fund to the jail fund of $162,535. Obviously, we've got, 2.5 weeks roughly left of this fiscal year. This should take care of everything.
Yes, which we should get a class B check, so, this is the amount we're not, and then I should have one more request from jail for a commissary for the month of May,
But just so everyone knows, this request is being made in the event that we need to do it for payroll purposes or whatnot. But any amount of this, any portion of this amount that does get transferred will be beyond what we originally budgeted. So if we get the Class D and all these other things, we may not have to. We may end on a flush level line. Just
Hopefully.
you cannot pay payroll, though, on money you do not have. So I just need a motion. Yeah, got a motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Myron. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item, gentlemen, is the May financial statement. We'd need a motion and a second to approve that financial statement subject to audit and authorize the signature of the county treasurer and the county judge.
So much.
Motion by Marty.
Second.
Second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, gentlemen, is the budget transfers. We need a motion and a second to approve the budget transfers.
So moved.
So moved.
I got a motion by Jeffrey and a second by Myron, and just, I think a lot of this is some year-end kind of cleanup to get through the last few weeks of the current fiscal year budget. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And finally, gentlemen, the bills and claims, we need a motion and a second to approve the claims as presented.
So much.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Scott. Any other questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, I have a few things under my report. Sam and Scott and I were all at the county clerk sale yesterday. The county clerk is out currently on a convention, I guess a clerk's convention, a county clerk convention or seminar or something. But I think we done okay. The building brought 205 plus the 10% buyer premium. So we
Well,
got.
I know they sold a little bit of that stuff inside.
I don't.
They didn't bring enough.
I don't know.
amount
After they sold the building, I left. I didn't need to see them sell $2 chairs. So I don't know.
Anything that didn't.
250. To be fair, it was 250.
250.
They said anything
right.
that didn't sell went with the building.
That's right. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't stay for the $2.50 chair sale. I don't think that we got a lot of money out of the chair and the furniture. The flags, they sold the 2 flags, I think they brought $5 a piece.
Something like that.
Something like that. After the flag sold for $5, I figured I could go ahead and leave. But we come out, you know, I think our intention, our goal was when we set out to do the clerk's building, we were in hopes that we would get at least $200,000 out of the building. So we got 205, so I feel like we're in good shape.
That's a lot more than the bid.
It was a lot more than the sealed bid we rejected, so we're good there. Another item, gentlemen, just giving you fair warning, I don't know when or what day or anything like that, but there is a possibility that we may have to have a special called meeting before the end of the fiscal year, just because the waste contract, we really need to get it signed, but the city is still hashing through some things. And I don't know if you've seen this morning, Counselor, but we got another marked up copy that got sent out.
No, I haven't seen it.
But I think the markups are all pretty, I mean, they're all pretty simple. There was just places in the contract where it should have said City of Franklin and Simpson County, and it just said City of Franklin, and it should have referred to both, so we sent that back. There was a signature line for just the City of Franklin, and we also need the signature line for Simpson County.
County Simpson, right.
Yeah, so it was just minor things like that. Obviously, all the terms of the agreement as far as dollars are exactly what the bid numbers were and everything like that. But as we talked about earlier, you've got to have all of your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and everything right before everybody signs it. But we all do need to try to get it signed by the end of the fiscal year, because it would take. So I'll keep y'all posted on all that. I do believe that this Friday night, the Friday night concerts begin. I do want to thank Jack and Julie Wade and the Coldwell Banker team for putting the flags around the courthouse. It kind of gets you in the mood for the 4th of July celebration, 250th birthday of America. A lot of July 4th events planned for that Saturday. I know a parade, a few other things. I noticed there's a thing on the door for a sing-along, so are any of you guys going to join in on the community sing-along?
Well, I thought I heard Myron said he'd be there.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of things going on. Another thing I want to bring y'all up on, and if you're not aware, if y'all remember in our last meeting, the Property Maintenance Code Board had authorized basically the condemnation and cleanup of some of the property on 98 Bunch Road. I don't know whether it was the same day or the day after, but just like that day or the next day, the owners of that property sold it.
So now we don't have to worry about cleaning it
I
up?
think we're not going to have to worry about cleaning it up, because I have in pretty good confidence that the new owner is going to.
If it's who I think it is, they're going to
clean it up. So we held off once we had the information that a sale had been made, and we confirmed it. I mean, it wasn't just, oh, so-and-so said it was going to buy it. We confirmed there's a sale. It's going. So we did not advertise for the cleanup of that property. The new owner has agreed that yes, we're going to get it, clean it up. So that's where that's going. And then a couple of things, and Sam, I had emailed you these, and I don't know if you're prepared to talk about them today, or we've been pretty lengthy and we still got executive session. We might talk about this in our first meeting in July. But the House Bill 189, the panhandling law that goes into effect in July, that talks about such activity in road right-of-ways and pedestrian right-of-ways being public safety measures. Can we look at that and hopefully address some of the same things for county roadways and county pedestrian areas?
Short answer is I'm not sure. I will.
But we'll take that up.
I'm not, to answer your question, I'm not really prepared to talk about that this second.
Okay.
Sorry.
And the other one is the sign ordinance, basically campaign signs. And I think I'm correct when I say The city currently has one that I think says 60 days prior to.
Well, evidently they don't enforce it
But
because they already
I
put it
don't
up.
think it's enforced, but we were looking at something
that's
along
right.
those lines. So we can discuss those
If
if
they
you
can,
like.
if they can get Mo to take care of, do them like she does yard sale
And
signs.
the other reality is too, not that people won't put signs on property that's outside the city limits in this coming election, but to my knowledge, there's only one race that is outside the city limits, and it's not a countywide race, it's just a district race. So I don't know how much pressure is on us to try to draft something before the general election, but
Would that have to be something like from our right-of-way to the street? You couldn't have anything, but I guess if somebody wanted to put it,
you know, that's a touchy thing because, so let's take your house. I mean, you own that property all the way to the street,
Yeah.
but the county has a right-of-way from the center of that street so far. But you're maintaining and mowing that property all the way to the road. I mean, while yes, you would say that's county right-of-way, it's being maintained by the property owner that owns that property. I would think that if you allow that person to put a sign in your yard and they put it, 5 foot off the road, that's still your yard and you're maintaining it. I think when we get to talking about rights-of-way, we're talking about strictly county-maintained rights-of-way. And I don't know how you differentiate that, Sam. That's...
Somebody owns that property. The right-of-way is a right to put in public utilities.
Yes.
It's through there.
Or
So
the
even
ditch
if-
work and all those other things.
all the fields that we have out at Gold City and anybody else who owns the land, there is a right-of-way, but that's not so somebody can stop and put a sign up in it if they want to. That is, or put a produce stand up in it because there's enough room there to get it between a fence and a road. That is not for public use. That is to put in public utilities. So even though it's a county right-of-way, the public still doesn't have the right to do what they want to inside, in that.
Yeah, not without checking with the property owner.
Exactly. The property owner still owns that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions like that. That's why
I
we
just
have a
wonder.
county attorney. I don't know the answer to, just like you, I cut my grass all the way to the road, and I know that at any given time, if the county has a ditch issue or if the water district has a water issue, they may come and dig my property up. All right, I'm done. Byron?
No report.
Scott? Jeffrey?
No report.
Marty?
Everybody should be getting on the last half of this harvest, so there'll still be farm equipment moving, so people be safe.
Yep. Counselor?
No report.
Sheriff?
No report, sir.
Jailer? Paul, anything with maintenance? Chief, anything with fire? Bob, anything with OEM? Bobby, anything with the road department? All right, gentlemen, I do need a motion pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph C, discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency, to move into executive session following a brief break.
Somebody.
Got a motion by Marty.
second.
Second by Scott. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.